All right, guys, we're back on Southeastern 16. Max Barr. Sam Smith was doing the countdown of how late we were in the chat, so I figured we'd just let him keep going. In reality, Max is trying to get his internet working, so that's just where we are right now. So
there's some technical difficulties here this morning, guys.
Like we sort of have the same background right now, Max. You've got your little wall of wood. I've got my little wall of wood here.
And I'm also in the garage.
Well, so we are pretty much the same at this moment.
Yeah.
So tremendous stuff. We appreciate you guys hopping in. Tuesday, SEC basketball off season. You guys know we do this every Tuesday in the off season, and our basketball coverage picking up a little bit here as we get into July because, as we said, only 4 months away now from the start of the season. So a lot more stuff coming your way here over the next little bit. And we appreciate Sam, Joe Mother, who is unsubscribing because how ridiculous it was that we started a few minutes late. Yep. So, you got to do what you got to do here. But, yes, Max not at a Colombian prison, as Sam notes in the comments. He's in the garage. So that is where we stand. The topic today, top SEC breakout candidates for 25-26, and we will get into our individual lists. I think Max and I both have 9 or 10 players, so we'll kind of break these down and do it maybe by teams. We may do it that way. We'll see what we get to on that. We will also talk a little bit about the U19 stuff a little bit later on, and we'll mention the return of a huge college basketball phenomenon. We'll mention that a little bit later on.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's right, Sam. Jay and Chris Lee, they never start late. You're right on that. So, all right. Max, breakout candidates. Are you ready?
Nothing I love more. How many did you end up with?
We were talking earlier, and I initially had 5, but then you said you had 10. So I said, all right, I'm going to get to 10. So I've got to 10. So.
And when I told you that I got to 10, in the meantime, I might have pushed it out to 15. I might have.
Oh my goodness. So really, we're gonna pick we're just gonna do the entire second 5 for every team is what we're gonna get to eventually. But that's all right. And yes, I know I was supporting the Tigers there with my Under Armour. But what are we switching to now? Is it what's Auburn? Are they Nike, Adidas? What are they now?
I can't keep track of these.
They swapped
brands
to something. Jedrick will let me know. But yeah, people switching brands all sorts of time. All right. How do you want to do this, Max? Do you want to do the teams? You have your second team? Well, now if you got 15, you got a third team now. So
yeah, I do. I got third, second, first team breakout.
This is ridiculous. All right. Just start with your third team because I don't have a third team. I've only got 10. So Auburn's Nike, by the way. Confirmed. Get some Nike shirts.
Good. When we did that, geez, it feels like forever ago now. But when we did our favorite jerseys, Nike was one of our, every time we did, I like that one. It was always Nike.
They were good.
Just clean. Yeah. Okay, so I did 5-man teams like the SEC does. We're done with that 18 first team. I started the third team with Collin Chandler of the Cats. I may or may not have multiple cats.
Well, if you got 15, I think you got to have multiple cats. That's my thinking. Yeah. So,
Collin Chandler, I think he's going to be the first guy off the bench in the backcourt. I think he's going to be a little bit more involved than people think. I know everyone's excited about young Jasper coming in, but I'm growing on Mr. Chandler here. I think he's going to have a much more of a role off the bench in that backcourt than people think. I got Chandler, and then sticking with the guys at the top, I also got Alex Lloyd coming off the bench. Same exact thing. Same thing. I think that he's going to have a bigger role. Maybe people expect, he'll look good in 10 minutes a game. I think Lloyd could get up there. I think he could be a real piece here. 6th, 7th man. And then the same thing. I'm keeping with the trend, Blake. And now this is more of a personal choice. I just love this guy. I absolutely love him. And I couldn't not talk about him. That's the likes of a Dayton Forsythe. Okay. Oklahoma, the Sooner. Kid's a stud. I love him. He's going to come off the bench behind Brown and Pack. And the guy's rock solid. You know how sometimes you're watching a player, Blake, and it's a new player that you haven't really seen yet. Maybe it's a freshman, something like that. Happened a lot with us with Phylon last year, and you're just like, wow, I really like the way this guy plays. Rock solid. That's what happened with me and Mr. Forsyth first time I saw him.
Wow. Incredible story that was. That really makes me emotional, but please continue.
Yeah, so Mr. Forsyth, Mr. Chandler, and Mr. Lloyd are my backcourt members. And now, did you see the article? I think it was maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I think it was just a week ago, but that the likes of a Joey Dwyer released on Mark Byington saying they're going to play 6'7", 6'8" at the 2. 6'7", 6'8" at the 2. That would be talking about Mr. Tyler Harris coming in from Washington. Very intriguing. What are your thoughts on? What was your quick reaction to that? You know, saying we're gonna have probably 6'7", 6'8" at the 2. Probably gonna have that at the 3. We're gonna have about 6'8" to 6'9" at the 4. Then we're gonna go 6'10" at the 5. We're playing big this year, says Mark Byington.
My reaction is that I actually have a Joey Dwyer, Mark Byington quote for one of my breakout candidates. So I will use that when we get to this player.
Of course you do.
But no, they're gonna be huge. Like they're gonna be out there, one of the biggest teams in the SEC in the starting 5. No question. Maybe the biggest team in the SEC in the starting 5 if they play that kind of roster. So
we got a comment from, I don't know if it's Jedrick or J.E. Derek, but don't worry. I got you coming up. Here. Just stick around.
Remember, Max has still got 5 more teams to go through, so plenty of room for growth here. All right, do you still have one more guy on this third team?
Yeah.
Or is that
this is my favorite part of talking about off-season hoops. Finding the underdogs. Finding the guys that aren't going to get talked about enough. Love this stuff. My last guy on my third team, Jalen Reed, LSU. Bit of a cop-out. You probably were on the breakout list last year, and then he didn't get to showcase it. So I had to talk about Jalen Reed if we were going to talk about breakouts. Might be a little bit of cheating because people were predicting that last year, but he was injured.
All right, so that's your third team. I like it again, like you said. We're going to have different definitions sometimes of what a breakout consists of. As you're going to see, I'm going to have some guys that I think people are going to say, wait a minute, those guys have already broken out. But we can have different kind of criteria for what meets it. And some of mine are going to be more on the level of, hey, like these are all SEC type players potentially breaking out to that level. Other guys may just come in and just simply, be breaking out as for the first time, in this league and kind of getting on people's radars. So that's where I'm looking at it for some of these guys. All right. I think you've got a good list there for your third team.
That was just like a get warmed up, Let's get into the flow.
Yeah. You go out, you get going. We're 10 minutes into the game, and now it's time to really kick things up.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Brian asked, will the referees have a breakout season? I'm going to say no, but it's possible. I don't remember the last season we left it and said, you know what, man, I really want to talk about the basketball, but let me tell you about the referees this year. I think we've really done that a whole lot. But all right, you ready for my second team?
Oh my! I don't know if I am. I am, but
you're not. You're definitely not. But all right, we're gonna start for me with a team that I also think's got some interesting depth. We head to Columbia, to Missouri. T.O. Barrett, Max Barr. How many times have we talked about T.O. Barrett this offseason? I'll tell you right now.
Not expecting that.
Not much. But if there's anyone I trust with Missouri basketball more than Dennis Gates, it's my guy Sam Snelling over at Rock M Nation. And I'm going to give you this paragraph. He did the player review, so he was reviewing the season for T.O. Barrett last year. This was back in May. And this is what Sam had to say. Everything else you could want for a player to make a breakout next season is there. Last year was Ant Robinson. Could this year it be Barrett? Regardless if he's ready for that big a step or not, the reality is Barrett should be a fixture in the rotation going forward, and the staff are very happy that he stuck around for it. So, to me, this what stood out, and I think Sam kind of wrote about this. The guy's just like he's a gamer. He's a dog. And I think that that's going to play well into how Missouri wants to play this season. Give me a little T.O. Barrett, Max, as a breakout candidate.
I was not expecting you to go T.O. Barrett.
Well, there's another guy from Missouri that I could also go with. And so let's just go ahead and do that now because I'm just going to go with another Missouri player. Because I said I'm a little maybe higher on Missouri than some people. If it's going to happen, it's going to take a couple guys like this.
Yeah.
You know who the other one is? You want to guess it? You probably can guess it.
Well, I have a Missouri on mine, but it was more into the category of going from already good to potentially all SEC. So okay. You could go a lot of different ways here with this one.
Who are we talking about a lot last year saying, all right, this guy's about to come in and look out, right?
Would that be the likes of Mr. Cruz?
No, not Mr. Cruz. It's someone else.
What?
It's Boateng. Oh. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, right, if you're looking at Missouri thinking they're going to have a top-tier season, and look, you could put Jacob Cruz in there too. I think he could qualify. But I'm more so picking a couple of these guys where it's like, I feel like they kind of have to break out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think he's one that, look, he was the guy in that class last year coming in, and we're thinking, I mean, how many times last year we say, man, look at how sporadic the minutes were. But I think you could go back and see some of those things. We're like, all right, he's got to get better here. He's got to get better there. And so I'm going to put him on this list because I think that it's kind of fascinating. Yes, they have a lot of kind of older guys in some of these spots, as we talked about, but I'm just curious, is he on this list by the time we get to March? Because all the talent's there. Like, the guy is just, he's got the talent. And now that he goes into his sophomore season, what does his role look like on a team that, as we said, sometimes it's very hard to predict rotations and minutes and all that, but the talent's there. So
that's very, now you have my mind racing now with these choices. I love this. This is going much better than I thought it would.
All right. I'm going to go to my next player and I'm trying to figure out if I want to move one of these guys to this other team, but I'm not going to. So one of the other players I have on the list here, and I think this is kind of, so this, actually, I'm not going to include him because you're going to think I'm crazy. All right. I'm going to go with another guy, and that's Darian Reed at Oklahoma. Because, again, you talk about a guy that came in as a freshman. Yes, he did good things at Alabama, but now I think you're looking at a scenario where, okay, like, does he become a guy who, remember all the talk? I mean, we're talking, could this be SEC Freshman of the Year type level? All that. 6 points a game last year. We know he missed some games. Had the kind of that, what was it? What was the injury?
I forget the exact injury, but he was in and out.
It's like a lingering type thing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So now that I see him heading over to Oklahoma, I see it where if Oklahoma is going to be a sleeper team as we peg them to be, I think you got to put him on the list. Like, he could be that guy that takes the big jump from, all right, freshman to sophomore, all of a sudden there's a reason this dude was so highly valuable as a recruit, and maybe he becomes one of those dudes. Yeah, lower leg. There you go. Big baller Brett.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's, and when you look at the Oklahoma kind of the projected depth chart, the projected front court, you have Tay Davis at the 4 and Mo Wagi at the 5, but behind them, you've got a redshirt freshman and a freshman. And if it's not the redshirt freshman, it's another freshman, right? So you've just got a lot of youth that's projected to be this support in the front court. Maybe we see Oklahoma they go small and they go Darian Reed at the 4 when Tay Davis needs a breather, and Reed could be like this Swiss Army knife, just does a little bit of everything for Oklahoma. I could totally see that. It's a great pick.
All right, and then we're gonna headline my second team. Are you ready for this?
Oh boy!
Everyone, make sure your headphones are hearing clearly here, because when I say this word, I want to make sure you're not hearing something else when I say this. My second team, Max, is headlined by the Vitches.
Okay.
The Vitches. All right?
Yep.
Make sure we hear that very clearly. Starts with a V.
Yep.
All right? And you know who I'm talking about. We got Jovic and Jelavic. The Vitches. All right? That's how we're going to refer to him this season. One's at Kentucky, one's at Auburn. That's what we're rolling with. Look, I mean, again, if we're talking about depth and breakout potential, you've got two guys that I think when you see, we've mentioned like in the past, everybody in the comments.
That's great.
You've got two guys, international type guys, right? Skill sets are very versatile. I've seen the comments from Mark Pope. I've seen the comments from Bruce Pearl. And I'm buying in on the bitches. All right? YouTube, any other podcast place that does your little AI transcriptions. It's a V, not a B. All right? There you go, Max. Second team, the bitches.
Those are your bitches right there. We're going to have a lot of fun with that this year.
There you go. So, what do you think about those two guys? Because, I mean, Kentucky fans tell me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think he's not here yet, right?
Like not here yet. Nope.
Yeah, so he's not here yet. I know Mark Pope had commented on that not long ago. But I know, again, kind of, I think Bruce Pearl, one of the comments I saw from him this summer was just talking about, all right, you've got a big guy coming in. He's seen the success they've had producing other, front court players, and that's a big appeal. And I think I'm very curious to see how they can use him this season. So
both of them have the opportunity, right? Like if they are either going to outperform our expectation or live right up to it, they'll have the playing time and opportunity to do it early on. With JQ maybe not getting his full allotment of minutes that he's going to be playing February, March, Jelavic probably going to have a bit more opportunity, and then Jovic should be the guy next to Murph there. So they'll have that chance to prove it early.
All right. The comments have gotten wild. Listen, we do what we can here. No Brian, no profanity given out there. So Brian's confusing me too. He's changed his profile to the Godfather, and so I've been confused by that. But Brian is here. So all right. So the spelling VIC is both of them at the end of their names. So
yes.
I believe that's correct. All right.
Yeah.
Your second team, Max. Here we go.
All right. This whole team is basically like projected fringe starters or projected to be like 6th, 7th men who I think could end up being like a 25-minute, 30-minute a game guy could be like he's definitely a starter, talking about maybe some sort of second team, something like that. Basically a fringe starter that I think is going to be absolutely rock solid or has the chance to be. Starting with Elijah Freeman from Auburn. Just speaking about the size, 6'8", shot north of 40% last year, averaged 19 a game. I know it's JUCO, but can really fill it up. We were just talking about Jovic. You got Murphy. Behind Jovic and Murphy, you've got the freshman and Williams Adams, and you got another JUCO 7-footer in Operum. There's opportunity there. Like if Freeman is going to pan out in year one, he's got that chance to prove it. And I think we could see, in my head, it's like we've just sharpied in Jovic to that starting 4. I'm not so sure Freeman isn't good at, I think he's right there in that conversation, just given the frame, the numbers, the efficiency from outside. I think Freeman could really surprise some people. And Bruce has done so well with finding that JUCO talent in the past few years. So I'm really high on Freeman. I think he's probably going to come off the bench, though, to start the season. Then in a similar role, Billy Richmond. Billy the Kid. I mean, he was our guy down the stretch last year, 15, 20 minutes a game, not really efficient offensively, but everywhere else, fantastic. He can rebound. He can defend, steals, transition. He's kind of like the Kendall Weaver of Arkansas, undersized, but can guard the 4 if he gets switched on to him. He's not going to back down, tough as nails. So I don't really know, this wasn't an offensive breakout, more of like a utility man, dirty work, He's going to be very important for Arkansas. If Billy Richmond was to get injured, I'm not sure if they have another Billy Richmond that'll step in and do all that nasty stuff. So Freeman from Auburn, Richmond from Arkansas, and then I'm going Samto Surreal, Blake, Georgia. I'm pretty sure last year was a reclass, so was very young last year. Now sophomore after a year in the SEC, playing with Newell, playing with RJ Godfrey. Now it's his turn to shine. He's got Abeson there. He's got, who's the other that's been there forever? Not forever, but Dylan James. So you got a few other 6'9" guys. Catchings is not going to play the 5. But I think the opportunity's opened up for Surreal. If you were going to be this starting SEC 5-man and you're going to be the rock down low, it's his time. It's the roster has opened up for Samto Surreal to make a statement here. And then 2 more on my second team. I'm staying with the bigs. Lassina Traore, baby. Might not even call him a breakout. It might be cheating, okay? Because if you're really into mid-major basketball, you know what he did at LBSU before he transferred to Xavier and then was injured. But if you're not familiar with Traore, this guy might lead the nation in rebounding this year. That's not an exaggeration. He is an absolute monster. Was going to be a starter last year if he didn't get injured. So I've got Traore and Cyril as like my big men enforcer breakouts. And then to round out my second team, I've got Bethea. This is kind of fitting into your Darian Reed, category of just extremely talented, high-rated recruit who didn't pan out freshman year, who now goes to a new opportunity. The talent is still there. Maybe the fit's better, and we're thinking to ourselves, how the heck did we not see this coming? This guy was a top 20 whatever recruit coming out of high school. How did we not expect this? I think Bethea could be a guy that just fits in perfectly with that offense that Oates wants to run.
I like it. I think those are some really good choices. Of course, you just completely stole multiple choices of mine for my first team, but we'll get to that here shortly. That's what we do. We got more to talk about as well. Before we get to the first team, oh my. Speaking of first team, Max, there's no breakout candidate list needed for these guys.
No.
Because we're talking high-quality steel here with our friends at GameTime Sidekicks.
Yeah.
What an incredible product we're talking about. Again, number one breakout candidate probably on earth is my guess. Just complete breakout candidate on every level. Our friends at GameTime Sidekicks, we've been telling you about them, folks. What an unbelievable deal they got for you. The stainless steel drinkware, officially licensed. All the SEC schools are there. Over 350 more universities as well. The top of the market quality. They got the construction. They got the ice retention. My goodness. The logo printing, product decoration done in Knoxville, Tennessee, right beside Sam Smith. Tons of designs and logos offered for each school. And we even offer the college vault line. Everything from the stainless steel sippy cups, the tumblers, the 40-ounce bottles, the shaker cups. You can just go buy this bad baby right here. If you want to support the Vitches, you can do that by buying one of these cups for the second team, all breakout candidates in the SEC. Remember, use that promo code. Used to be 10%, no longer. 20% discount, SE16. SE16, 20% off if you head over to our friends at GameTime Sidekicks. What a product. What a product. Putting a link in there to the description. Remember, too, if you want to join the It Just Means More tier here at Southeastern 16, the memberships, we do a weekly mailbag for our members. So if you want to talk SEC basketball in the offseason, we do a lot more of that with our members. So check that out. Got a lot of football membership stuff on the way as well. So lots of fun stuff coming your way. So be sure to support the channel. A big time for us. Getting ready to start football season. All kinds of stuff. Check out that join link right there in the comments for that. All right. First team, Max.
I got a short story before. Game time sidekick, short story. I'm in the middle of moving. That's why you see the new background. I'm on the move. I bring home my supplies. Mom is, organizing some of the dishes I bring. Whose cups are these, Max? These are really nice. Had no clue. I was like, hey, Game Time Sidekicks. That's our sponsor. these are really nice, aren't they? That a mother's genuine appreciation for the Game Time Sidekicks cups. If that is not what you need to hear to go buy one of these cups, I don't know what is.
Well, you know what? How about we'll make a deal for some people? If they want to, again, get the 20% off, they can do that with SE16. But also, Skyler reminded us, if you want to join in on the memberships, our members actually get an additional discount at Game Time Sidekicks. So you know what we're going to do at the end of the show today? If Max doesn't let me forget and you guys don't let me forget, we're going to give out some free memberships at the end of the show where you can up your discount at Game Time Sidekicks and get all our bonus content as well. Unbelievable deal you got here.
Yep.
All right. First team. Are you ready? Because I want to give you mine because I'm just going to tell you, you've already taken 2 of my players. So, 2 of my players on my first team that Max mentioned on his second team. Billy Richmond, one of them, Billy the Kid, is on my list there. Again, I think it's the same. I've talked about Karter Knox taking the big jump into SEC stardom potentially. You mentioned, and I think you said it the best way, there's not another Billy Richmond on that roster, and it's not a knock on anyone else. It's just I think he's a very unique player, and I think you're going to see a big jump from him going from there. I think that's going to be how it works with him. I think he's going to have a big season at Arkansas. Sorry, Skyler. Yes, you can give away memberships. How to do it, I can't tell you. You'll have to look at some of the options there. I don't remember how you can actually do it, but you can give memberships as a member. All right, so Billy Richmond was one of mine. Again, I think you said it best on him.
Yep.
You knew my guy was going to be on there at Texas. You kidding me? Come on. Lassina Traore. Of course he's on there. I'm going to give you this quote from Sean Miller. This was last year at Xavier. Lassina was a starter on this year's team. He had a great summer in preseason where he improved his game as much as any player in our program. He emerged to be our team's best rebounder, low post defender, and shot blocker. He was in superior condition and became a tone setter for everything that impacts winning. Sign me up. We will miss his ability and his presence. No one player can replace him. All of us will have to do more, be better, and step up in our respective roles, and we will eagerly await his return to the basketball court in the 25-26 season. Sean Miller also said recently, the man is fully cleared and ready to go. I'm all in on this guy right here. He's going to be a beast. And like we said, we were following him in the Big West before that at Long Beach State. I'm all in on this guy at Texas.
Is there a tier above a first team we could put Lassina Traore on?
Oh, to me, he's in the Game Time Sidekicks Sanders moving tier of just true legendary figures in the world in any sport or anywhere. So, all right, those are the 2 I've got there. All right, this one may interest a couple of you in the chat. I said it when this guy transferred. I said that I think that I just think his game is so smooth, and I'm excited to see how he plays. And I also saw this quote where, well, I did see this quote somewhere, and then it's no longer on the tab, so therefore I'm going to try to do as best I can on this, where this young man said that his coach, Mark Pope, told him that if he doesn't shoot the ball, someone else will. That's all I need to hear. That means I got the green light anytime I need it. Kam Williams. I know he was an all AAC freshman team guy last year, but I just think Max, as we talked about, like 6'8", he's just, again, I think he's just a very smooth player, very versatile. You mentioned the three-point shooting numbers may not be as what they were last year with Kentucky. This is a guy I think that can absolutely help them there in terms of his ability to shoot the ball. I'm excited about how they're going to be able to use him. He does a lot of things, as we said, when we watch the tape on him. He impacts the game in a lot of ways. And yes, the shooting ability is one of them, but I really like this guy, and I think he could have a huge season just based on that roster. So
he's one of those guys that I've seen in the group chats that I'm in, the conversations that I've seen on the Discords, very high on Kam Williams and just the efficiency and how it can translate. If you look at the efficiencies, they might not shoot as good as last year, but if you looked at the efficiency of all the players like Amari Williams, Jackson Robinson, all these new players, Lamont Butler that came into Kentucky, their efficiencies increased. They did not decrease. So you have this Kam Williams cat who's already very efficient. as a freshman, there's reason to be excited with those shooting numbers.
There you go. Shane's got another quote here. It's kind of the first part, I think, of the quote that I added. But yeah, he always tells me, shoot the ball. You're a shooter, shoot the ball. Yeah. So just, that's it. There you go. Like the staff tells me the same thing. In practice, sometimes I might pass up a few. If you won't shoot, somebody else will.
Yep.
Green light. Kam Williams. So there you go. All right. Down to my final two here. Big Baller Brett will probably appreciate this one. This kind of goes back to what I said earlier with some of the guys on my third team, where I said they sort of have no choice but to simply be a breakout candidate. And I'm going to the front court of the Alabama Crimson Tide, to a guy that we've talked about a little bit this offseason, Aiden. This is like I always do a pump fake on his last name.
Yep.
Cheryl?
That's what I go with. I go with Sherelle.
All right, I think that's right. We're going to get this right at some point. But he's on my list because I think, again, you're talking about a guy that we mentioned. It's sort of a new look front court for Alabama. We're very high on Bowen, and I think this is a guy, too. We mentioned just there's a reason Alabama brought him in, and you can't teach 6'10", and just, again, some of the things that he can do on the court. Now his responsibilities are going to be much higher, and I think he sort of has to be in a position where he's a breakout candidate, and I think they'll get him there because I think he's got the talent and the skill to do so. So I've got him on the list. I just think it's a natural choice in terms of just a guy that's got to get there, and I think he can, like I said. So, yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, and then I teased it earlier. The Joey Dwyer special, Max Barr. So this is one of those choices where, all right, we clearly talked about this guy last year. I got to pull his numbers up because I don't remember exactly what he averaged. Okay, so Tyler Nickel last year, Max, averaged 10.4 points per game. So you're thinking, okay, like how can you possibly put a breakout type guy who averaged 10 points a game? I'll tell you why. Because this quote from Mark Byington via the one and only Joey Dwyer. I think he'll be one of the better players in the SEC. Mark Byington said, he was almost exclusively at the 4, undersized. We'll move him around this year more. He will be more at the 3 and at the 4, but that might help us hide him a little bit because everybody knows he's good. We got to move him around to find shots, as many shots as he can get. If Tyler Nickel is out there putting up 15 shots a game from 3, he's going to hit 8 of them. And so I think this guy, and I don't know if he's going to be an all-SEC player. I'm not sure. It's a really talented league, but I like the way Mark Byington's talking about Tyler Nickel. So even though I think you could argue he was kind of a breakout player last year, I think he's still capable of taking just as big of, if not bigger, jump this year. So I think he could break out into being what Mark Byington just said, an all-SEC type player. So I'm going Tyler Nickel on my first team.
I'm now questioning if I should just shut my laptop off for not having Tyler Nickel on my list.
Well, don't do that because you've had enough internet issues and we don't need more here. But
I love that pick.
The quote sold me. Again, it's more of on that borderline of whether you can consider him breakout, but that quote right there sold me on him being an option for me. So,
well, how many threes did he make last year? Last year, Tyler Nickel shot 81 of 200 for 40%. He's probably going to get triple digits.
Give me 115. Give me 115. Give me a Kobe Brea type stat.
Yep.
What was he? 101 of 202 or whatever it was. It's just a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
When he came in Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. My first team.
We had one player on both of our first teams. Do you want to take a guess at which player I also have on my first team?
You've already mentioned Richmond. You've already mentioned Traore. You said you're going to shut your laptop because you didn't have Nickel. So it comes down to Aiden or Kam Williams. I'm going to go with Aiden.
Yep. I also have the big man for the Crimson Tide. I think it's more of, it's not, is he capable? I think we know he's capable. We saw the flashes last year, him picking and popping as a 5, burying some threes. The shot looks good. And he's big out there. He's physical, and he's going to need to. He's going to need to play. Okay. I know they got Williamson. I am not sold on Williamson being like a 20-minute a guy SEC player, 25-minute per game SEC player. I am sold on Sherrell being that guy. And with how good this offense is going to be, with how Sherrell can pick and pop, as Big Baller Brett says, a lot in better physical shape too. Just, you're a sophomore now. You got the full off season. I think we could really see just everything you said as well. But I'm very high on Sherrell being the guy for the Alabama front court. Now this one was a bit of a cheat because he broke out last year, but he broke out last year to us, but not to the national media. He didn't get any credit. And so this is kind of just like I think he could be all SEC conversation. The analytics are going to support it. Ant Robinson for Missouri is on my first team. I know it's cheating because I know our chat has heard us talk about him a lot, but he didn't get the national credit. Anytime you see a national media guy talk about Missouri, they just say, yeah, they got Mark Mitchell. Well, they got a really, really good point guard as well, who's incredible defensively and took massive leaps offensively last year. And if you look at Evan Mia, you look at Bart Torvik, analytically, one of the most impactful players in the league last year. So this was more of just like start putting some respect on Ant Robinson's on his name, because man, his analytics are good. So I got Sherrell, I got Robinson, and then I told you I was going to go another cat. And now
I know where you're going here.
This one may be unpopular, but I believe in him. I really do. I strongly believe he's going to have a great season. I'm going Brandon Garrison. I believe in him. I 100% do. I think the little clips Kentucky's putting out, he looks like he can guard 1 through 5, switchability. Like, I can see a Cat team with Mo D, with maybe Kam at the 3 at 6'8", and Brandon Garrison at the 5, and they're switching everything. And you can't beat them off the dribble. They're too quick, feet moving too quick. I think Garrison also in transition. We talked about how maybe the set offense isn't going to be as clean as last year. They're going to be ripping and running, getting to the rim, athleticism. I think Garrison is going to take a massive leap, where Amari Williams was just so dang good last year. Anytime Amari Williams wasn't on the floor, we were like, well, it doesn't look the same as when Amari Williams is on the floor. But I'm telling you, I really, really believe in Garrison. And I feel like there's even some Cats fans that still don't believe in him. And I don't blame you. You got JQ coming in. You got a loaded front court that's going to be battling for minutes. Something about BG, Blake. I'm a believer. I'm a BG believer. So
there's a T-shirt coming soon. Southeastern 16. I believe in BG.
I do.
All right.
And then I've got 2 more. I've got Jalen Carey for the Vols. I've talked about him a good amount. But the stuff that they're saying, that Rick Barnes is saying about him kind of extending his offense out to the perimeter, similar thing to Garrison with the switchability on defense. He's a lot more physical, can move his feet. I think he's going to offer where Milicic last year did some good things. I feel like Carey is just a little bit stockier, a little bit heavier. He's going to be able to, if, say, a big got switched on to Milicic and he's backing him down. Milicic was getting backed down into the post. You're not backing down Jalen Carey. You know what I mean? It's a different look. It's a little bit stronger, a little bit more physical. And I think Carey could be a big piece for this Tennessee team. And then you guys are so tired of hearing me talk about him. My number 1 breakout is Elias Camerdine for Ole Miss.
I knew he would be on yours. I was going to put him on mine, but I knew he would be your top option. So I was like, I'll just let Max take the floor for him. Yeah.
I'm telling you, just look up Elias Camerdine on YouTube. Just look him up and watch 1 minute. Don't need 60 seconds out of your day. And you're going to be like, holy smokes, this guy is incredible. Like NBA first round. I'm telling you, just look at some of this guy's international stuff. You know how I can't think of a guy off the top of my head, but when a player kind of plays slow, it looks like they're moving in slow motion, like a Kam Knipple. like a Concanipple, where it's just
very
like
cerebral type approach.
Yeah, just kind of getting to his spot and just kind of rising up. Very smooth and controlled. Cameron, I think, could be a lottery pick. So there's my guys.
There you go. I think we got a lot of potential breakout stars here. I think that's a good choice. Again, I had a feeling he would be one of your top couple options, and for good reason. Like you said, I think you can go to YouTube and find any highlights you want, and you can see, I think, what Max is talking about with him, and that's why we talked about him quite a bit this offseason already. So, yeah, Ole Miss is a team, again, that I think is kind of being undervalued a little bit, and we put them in that sleeper tier in our power rankings for that reason. Can see a lot of potential good things coming out of them. So, all right. So there you go. There are breakout candidates. You guys, I know, have kind of weighed in a little bit with some options in the comments. You continue to drop some of your thoughts on breakout candidates for the upcoming season. We'll get to some of your comments as well. Remember, still giving out memberships too here by the end of the show. And yeah, by the way, some of our Nick says didn't know this was an option. Go Cats. So you've got, kind of the fun stuff you can do with the memberships there. And yes, Skylar, the breakout player in the chat. So yes, always plenty of breakout contenders.
Unanimous.
In our chat. There's no question about that. Brian asked, we won't go too long on this, but I think Brian may ask this earlier, but like breakout coach. It's an interesting one. Like, who could be the coach that takes the next step? I mean, I'll give you one off the bat, and again, it kind of goes back to the necessity thing. Well, no, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go with what I think is the easy choice, and I think it's Bucky at A&M. Yeah. I'll go that route. Yeah. I like the roster. I really like A&M's roster. I think they're a team, too, that would be in that category of sleeper teams. And so, yeah, I'm going to put Bucky in there. Because you're always going to have questions about how a guy acclimates when he takes that step up. But I think when you see the roster he's put together and the style that he plays, may not see that fully implemented this year, but I think he's in a good spot.
Bucky's coaching trajectory is crazy too. How quickly he just went from high school to the SEC.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason for that. I mean, the guy knows basketball, and he's a hard worker, and he's, again, very well connected. And I think you can see some of the players he's helped produce and send to the college level. And you saw the way some of those Sanford teams played. I mean, there's a lot to like. And Sue, as we said, fair, unfair, he's the complete opposite in a sense of Buzz Williams. Where like A&M fans are like, we're tired of seeing this in terms of the way they won. Not tired of seeing them win, but like, we don't want to shoot a lot of free throws. We don't want these to be kind of grinds the way they were. We just want to see maybe a little bit more of a free-flowing brand of basketball. And maybe that's what you would expect with Bucky bringing in. So, yeah.
I like how he doesn't follow the rules. Like not like the actual rules, but like the rules of coaching basketball. Like, you shouldn't run a zone in this. You shouldn't full court press. Right. Bucky just says, I'm running what I want.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Max, some quick thoughts, and we're going to spend a lot of time on this because there's a couple other things we want to get to, but we were going to mention the U19 stuff for just a second, and I think someone may have asked a second ago.
Yes.
Alan asked about how you would grade Jasper Johnson in the U19, and I know he was kind of one of the talking points coming out of it in terms of what his role was, and then, of course, there were some other notable impact players as well.
Well, some good and some bad. There's a bit of a mixed bag because he shot 40% from three. Had the good three-point shooting numbers, but he didn't get to play a ton. He was one of the lower minutes guys, and so the numbers are a little bit like the numbers aren't reflecting. Some other guys played like double his minutes, so the averages are a little bit more accurate, but Jasper was dead last on USA in efficiency and dead last on plus minus. Basically, it just means like he wasn't getting his hands dirty. Wasn't a lot of assists, steals, rebounds. He was just spotting up, shooting, catch and shoot, which that's why it's like a little bit of good and bad. That's why I'm like a little bit higher on Collin Chandler. I think Collin, if they need someone to bring the ball up when Lowe's not in there, someone to run the offense, I think Chandler's that guy. But I think Jasper could be like that freshman spark plug who comes in and just like, ooh, there's 6 points out of nowhere. 2 quick Jasper Johnson transition threes. Like that's where I'm kind of framing Jasper Johnson's role a little bit more now, just because he wasn't too active in the rest of the action. But hey, when he was open for 3, it knocked him down.
Yeah, I think that's fair, like you said. And we mentioned, too, they're going to be a hard team. And even though I think, again, some people are like, no, this is the very clear starting 5. Here are the guys who are going to get 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I think Kentucky's going to be hard to predict because they do have so many options on how they can use different lineups. And, again, it is a little bit different of a team than they had last year from here are their strengths, that kind of scenario. And so I think it's going to be something to where we see how they kind of rotate these guys, knowing that there's a lot of talent on that roster, and it's going to be interesting. I think what Mark Pope has at his disposal there. So, yeah.
Like if Jasper buys into that role, I'm almost thinking like this is a little bit of a throwback, but little Serge Abari Rice on Chris Beard's Texas team, just that spark off the bench. You come in, shoot the dang ball. You're here to score. Like if he can fit into that role, I think that suits his strengths the best.
Yeah. Other takeaways, it wasn't a big surprise in terms of some of the standout guys outside of the SEC that you would have expected. I can see there's an interesting discourse in the comments about a certain BYU player, but nonetheless, again, I think this was about what you expected when you see some of the other guys that stood out for this particular group there. So,
Mikel Brown Jr. I know the Cats fans don't want to hear it, but that guy's
good.
Incredible. He's dang good. Wow. Mikel, I didn't know he was that good. Okay, so I was like, okay, holy smokes, Mikel Brown Jr. He can go 7 of 10 from 3 on any night. And then honestly, I was very impressed with Caleb Holt. Still in high school. I know Ole Miss is probably in the lead there, but man, that championship game, Holt was in the main 5 for the USA, which was pretty impressive. And then you got the rest of the guys. Obviously, Dibansa stuffs the stat sheet. Morez Johnson's going to be a beast for Michigan. Koa Pete started the tournament extremely strong, the Arizona freshman, and then had a few inefficient games, but still, you liked what you saw from Koa Pete. And then everyone else was that was kind of the main group. And then everyone was kind of in support off the bench. But yeah, man, Mikel Brown he's pretty good.
I was looking at the plus minuses from the fun. I didn't realize that Jasper Johnson had the highest of the in the final game there, and it was Holt. Yeah. I think you had second or third.
Holt,
yeah, wild. He's good. So, all right. So there are some thoughts on that, and again, we'll circle back around with some other stuff. Nick asked, didn't they win by 40 in the championship? I think it was 109-76 was the final.
By the way, if you watch that championship, you saw a new Texas commit, Declan Duru, power forward, not too much of an offensive prospect, but just a kind of a freak athlete, rebounder, defender, can jump through the roof. He was playing there in behind Steinbeck. Blake, get used to Steinbeck for Washington. Like the guy's going to average 15 and 15. Some of the numbers this guy was putting, you had like 20 rebound games in this German league that he was in. So, but Texas, new commit. If you go watch the highlights of the championship, keep an eye on Declan for Germany because he's headed to the Longhorns.
Yeah, Randy was asking, I think, about him earlier. And so, yeah, you can certainly take a look and see what they're getting in him. So, all right. Everyone is kind of in the chat. The one and only is here. Matt has arrived for the live show, and he's asking, did Max move into the garage with me? Again, we're very similar setup today, but no, he hasn't yet. That could be coming soon. Big announcement on the way. No. Yeah, that's where we stand on that. Okay, let's get to some other stuff here. Actually, I'm pulling these back up. I didn't mean to do that, but hey, there you go. Some free pub for you guys. Yes, Matt is here. I know Johnny said earlier, you guys need to go live more talking college basketball. Well, Johnny, here's the thing. That's kind of our plan. And so,
Yes.
as we talked about at the end of last season, we will be doing a little bit more this season in terms of kind of tying in the national college basketball scene into the SEC a bit more. So you guys will see that start to come into play here over the next couple months, where we will kind of tie more into the SEC. So kind of like we did, what was that, a couple weeks ago? We're like, hey, here are the biggest threats to the SEC winning another national title. We talked a bit about, the Houstons, Purdue's, and Dukes of the world and everything. So we will be doing that a bit more. So if you guys all of a sudden see something pop up on your notifications where like, hey, let's talk about Houston basketball. Well, we're going to tie that into the SEC and sort of scheduling and that kind of stuff, because again, the SEC is going to play a lot of these top teams. And so we will talk about that more even during the season. As you'll see, we might have some even more fun stuff kind of tying the college basketball scene nationally into the SEC. So yeah, there will be more of that. And if you guys want us to do it, all you got to do is let us know, because again, we are open to suggestions here. Anything you want in terms of looking at how the SEC fits into the national scene in college basketball and all that stuff, we are definitely planning on doing that this season. So, yeah.
Think about it this way. If you're one of the 14 potential, you're one of the potential 14 teams that are going to make it in the tournament, you're going to be playing someone out of the conference. So you're going to have to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why we're going to spend this season kind of, again, giving you some insight into the other teams throughout the season. So that way, when we get to March, we're not having to do the cram session in 2 days and just give you everything you need to know. You're going to be able to kind of get that knowledge throughout the season on the channel. So, yeah, so we appreciate you guys. I know some of you have already reached out previously about how you want, us to kind of expand, do more college basketball. That will happen. So there you go. And I love that Matt's, one of his first questions hopping back in is, what are the Vitches, Max Barr? Boy, Matt, you really missed really missed an all-timer earlier on some of the things. Go back and watch the replay, as we always say. All right, Max. There was a tease recently from a sports entity called EA Sports about how a certain college basketball game may be making its way back into our world. It sounds like 2028 is the timeline there. So we got a few years before it's going to be back. But hey, I'm all in on this, and little do you guys know what Max Barr and I are putting together when it comes to getting you ready for 2028. Never that I think we would say that, but we are getting you ready for 2028, and Max and I have got a pretty fun thing we're going to start doing here within the next couple weeks that I think you guys will enjoy. So we'll just leave it at that. But your level of excitement, Max, for the return in 2028.
I hope that my first thought is that I hope I have a partner by then, because if I don't, it's not going to happen for the next, I don't know how long, because I'm not going to have a social life after that. I'm going to be glued to that game. Glued.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's an EA Sports venture. They did a good job with the college football game. So we need them to put the same kind of effort over the next couple of years into the basketball game. Give us a true dynasty mode. Let me coach my team to success and recruit and give out lots of cash in the transfer portal. Give me all that. All right? So, yeah.
I'll be on a recruiting trip to Deutschland to find the next the next international.
Max is like, I'll find my Cameradine in 2028. So he's headed to find any players that he can. Anywhere you could find Jovic, you could find Jelavic.
Oh my gosh.
You could name your team. Just that right there. So, yeah. So, as we said, we're kind of teasing it, but there is another game that's out there that if you guys have followed my work in the past, you know that I brought out several years ago and did a fun little dynasty mode on that with a certain SEC team. We're going to give you the chance to actually pick the SEC team we choose. Now, we got a feeling that there are two fan bases who are going to be in the running for the top contender here. So we got a feeling we know who that's going to be. Kentucky and Arkansas fans, I think, are going to battle it out for the choice. Maybe Auburn fans get in the mix. Maybe some other fans get into the mix. But
Gators?
Maybe the Gators get into the mix. But you guys will get to vote, actually, on what team Max and I are coaching, perhaps to the national championship in this particular game. So that's coming soon here at Southeastern 16.
Yes.
All right. Quick reset. Remember, our friends at GameTime Sidekicks, check them out. A lot of fun stuff over there. Remember, the more you support them, the more you support us. And if you don't want to support us, well, then just go support them because they do a great job. As we said, our sponsor here for at least the next several months. We're excited to have them. And just, again, I can't tell you how good this stuff is right here. I mean, it's just, it's an incredible product.
Top class.
So, top class, helps us out. So hopefully you help them out. SE16, 20% off. And remember, if you sign up for the members, you get an extra discount. And speaking of the members, the time you've been waiting for, if you decided to hang in to the 55-minute mark, well, it's time. Let's see if it rewards you, Max. Let's see if it rewards the people who hung around for this, because it's time to give out the memberships. Free memberships. Yeah. Who's going to get it? That is the question here as we get into it. So, all right, drum roll, please. I can't do it. Are we ready? It's members time. Here we go. 5 memberships coming out now. All right, Max, who got it? Who's going to be the lucky recipient? It's like watching The Price is Right. So Nathan's in. Cool Kid Fan's in. Ozzy's in. Hayden's in. Wesley's in. Ooh. 5 new members here at Southeastern 16. Reeling them on in. They're into the membership, all that. So there you go. Matt, you're already a member. Yeah, sorry. You're a paying member already. So you know what? I'm feeling nice, Max. Let's not stop at 5. It's going to be a big month in July here at Southeastern 16. We're giving out 5 more. Let's see who else gets in on this. 5 more memberships coming your way. Anna's got a membership. Brandon's got a membership. One more. Cass has got a membership. Gregory's in. And the final one, Tuna's House of Influence. I can't think of a better finish to the membership handouts for this month. Unbelievable group that just got added into the members. So if you guys are actually in the chat, chime in. If you just want a membership, express your excitement. And yes, we're glad you're here. And now you'll get to get in on the mailbag every week for SEC basketball, all of our football, mailbag stuff, and all that. So 10 new members here at the channel. All right, Max. What else do we say? That's it. We're done here. So
we are.
Sorry, Holly. We try again. It's a very random process for YouTube. We just don't. We can't pick them. It's a completely automated thing. So, all right. There are breakout candidates. We will be back with a members stream. I think the plan is to do that on Thursday. Maybe tomorrow. Just turn your notifications on. You'll know we're doing our members live stream. It's where you guys get to come in, and it's all about your questions. So we'll go as long as we need to answer your questions for the members. And daily football live streams, which yours truly will be on pretty much daily. They start in a couple weeks. You guys know we're doing some football live streams already, but they will start daily soon. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about that as well. So, all right. Appreciate you guys. As always, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button on your way out. It helps us out. Check out GameTime Sidekicks. Sanders moving. I'll give you a great read for Sanders moving next time around. If you're moving like Max Barr. Oh, come on. Actually, you know what? We can't miss this opportunity. Max Barr is on the move, and you know who he's moving with. He's moving with our friends at Sanders Moving, because I don't even need the copy to pull up, because I can tell you that Sanders Moving, formerly known as Sanders Logistics, what was the other name they used to be known as? Ted R. Sanders Moving. Their team professional movers can move your ass anywhere in the country. Max Barr's all over the place. Efficient, hassle-free moving at an affordable price. Whether you're moving across town or across the country, Sanders Moving has you covered. Visit them at tedrsandersmoving.com. All out of memory. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Southeastern 16.